Hello and welcome. I'm your casual perfume consumer, Lamar, and I'm here with two extraordinary gentlemen in the fragrance world. One, a businessman who is bringing some of the most exclusive fragrances to Kampala. Another, not so much of a casual perfume consumer, but a giant, a buff in the fragrance collection world. We have Mr. Ken from Perfume Plus, and we have Kampala's incomparable A Pass, we're actually filming in his home, his wonderful home here in Uganda. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and A Pass, thank you for hosting us here. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, so we're surrounded by all of these amazing fragrances. I have a hard time looking at the camera here. Everything is so amazing here. But I'm going to start off with A Pass. A Pass, how did you get into fragrances?
To be honest, it's my dad. My dad loved fragrance, and I only noticed because like your dad is moving out of the house and he has this thing spraying.
Indeed.
You're like, what is this? But it smells good. You're like, this is actually really good. So from that's where I got the passion, because he would wear one fragrance, I think it was Brute, had like a chain kind of thing on it, and he liked it a lot. And I think there was that Jean Paul Gaultier kind of, like, it's an old fragrance. I was like, this is really nice. So from there, I grew the love for perfumes and also deodorant. But now I'm very deep into fragrance, and I'm just inspired. I was inspired by my dad, and I would steal some of his perfumes here and there, just to spray myself as well and go to school and smell nice. And that's where everything started from. It started from childhood, and look where we are. Indeed.
And the smell of a good fragrance will sometimes make you feel like you need to steal.
Yeah, like it started from that, and right now I'm Big Daddy in the fragrance community. Now I'm the one giving my dad the new thing. I'm like, Dad, you need to try this.
Indeed.
You need to try this. The last one I gave him was a Montal fragrance. Actually, it's Intense Cafe. That's the one I gave him. I think it's Intense Cafe. That's the last one I gave him because he liked it a lot. In lockdown, he smelled it. It's like, it has this coffee, good vibes. So it's the one he's using currently. So he introduced me. Now I introduce him to fragrance as well, which is really unique. Yeah.
Indeed. And do you think that maybe was your father more someone who collected designer or niche or in between the two or what?
Designer. To be honest. I'm niche and a bit of designers that really like stand out. I'm not really like, I don't wear designer or whatever. But any fragrance that really stands out and gives me a vibe and an energy, I'm with it. It doesn't matter what it is, designer, private, and whatever it is, we just work with it. So I'm glad that I'm not just that, but I'm more inclined on the niche side if you look at what I've brought for you today.
I definitely see you are definitely a niche guy. We'll get to that in a few seconds when we talk about the distinctions between the two. And Ken, Mr. Ken, how did you get into fragrances?
Yeah, it's very interesting because this fragrance is, I think it's a question of one, personal hygiene. But then before even getting into fragrances, I have a history with the one, I call it my lucky charm. And this was the entry to perfumes. The Isimiyaki. Because one time I went to an interview and I was wearing this fragrance. So after the panel giving out and the summary was done and I was called upon, I courtesy enough, I managed to go through the interview. But one of the comments that was really allowed was, "You smell good." So from that time, that was the beginning.
You can never go wrong with "you smell good." I think that when someone says that, they have an idea of you burn inside their brain.
Yes.
The way that you smell, people will never forget that.
Exactly.
People will never forget that. So A Pass, when you are getting ready to purchase a perfume, what are you looking for in a fragrance when you're shopping?
Some of the fragrances, I'm not gonna lie, are blind buys. I'm just trying out things. I'm very daring as a human being with everything in my life. Like when it comes to studio, since I'm a musician, for all those who don't know, I just go in studio with no thought of what I'm gonna do. All I know is that I'm here for music. So if I go to find a fragrance, I'm like, I've done my research a bit.
Okay.
But I am going to blind buy it, but based on what I'm looking at, let's say the notes, what other reviewers talk about. You know, I watch YouTube. So since I watch YouTube, I'm like, okay, what do people say about this particular one? So if they say, oh, this or that, I'll go check like maybe 10 reviews about one particular fragrance and understand what they say. Go on Fragrantica, look at the notes. If I am interested in the notes, I'm good to go. But most of the times, I am Mr. Blind Buy. I just go out there, I look, I'm like, okay, color, okay, what do they say is dark? Let me try that and see. Let me try that and see. So, but right now as I speak, I'm not too blind buy. I really go and do my research, but way back, I'll just like go to the shop, I go to Ken, I'm like, give me that, give me that, give me that. I'll find out, I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think after. So now I've changed. Looking at how I've seen, like I just don't want to waste my money. Right now I know if I need a creed, majority of the creed, if I ever need a creed, it's usually royal wood. It will be the first thing because I understand how it works. And usually with understanding, you get the wisdom to know that this I don't do, that I don't do. But that takes time.
Interesting.
It takes time.
Sure,
Yeah.
no doubt. So have you ever had to maybe, you kind of spoke on, you mentioned this a second ago, but have you ever had to maybe rechange or make a shift or change in your particular style, or maybe change up a certain smell that you might be thinking, this is my signature scent, or something like that?
Yes, I would, but it's tough.
Indeed.
A signature scent is hard for me because for me, perfumes speak for different moments and seasons. If I'm moving out, I'm going to a gym, I'll usually use like a Kirk. I'll use like the Thomas Kosmala number 4. I could use the Nishane Hasiva because it's very clean.
Indeed,
you know,
Hachiva.
very clean. I would also use one that Ken came with in his collection. It's called Wulong Cha.
Yes.
It's very tea-like, it's very clean. So usually I'm looking at the occasion. I'm not just stepping out because this is my signature scent and I really like it. I'm like, oh, I need to use this. For example, this is very clean.
Indeed. Elysium.
This is Elysium by Roger Dove. And this one, by Roger Parfum, by Roger Dove is the guy behind the brand. This particular one is clean as well, but I can never use it for gin. It's very corporate in a sense. It's very corporate. You can all look at the bottle and see. That's not something you wear to the gym.
It's not very
You're
simple.
wasting it. It's not simple.
It has some layers
it's
to it.
sophisticated
Indeed.
in a sense. Though it's clean as well, you know, it's fresh.
Sure.
So for me, that's the thing. So for me, I'm not the kind of guy who say I have like a signature scent. But if I had something that is close to a signature scent, it's this one.
You know what?
This is the one.
You said that enough today. I think I'm being hypnotized. I think that might be the next one that I might be looking for. We said the word Hachiva at least 7 times today. Yes. Well, can you just break down what are you getting when you're trying this one out? Can you give us a note breakdown of what's in that?
This one has pineapple, has bergamot. It's floral. It's not dark in any way. It's just clean, but it's strong but clean.
Amazing.
So for me, this is what I like about this particular fragrance. It's very, very pineapple-like, but at the same time, it does not feel like it's feminine. It's for a gentleman. It could be for a guy. You shouldn't be too young wearing this one. I think you try something else like that is hippie. But this one, for me, it's the character around it. And the sad thing is that the bottle is opaque. So most of the times you can't know how far you've gone. So I used this fragrance and it ran out. I told Otima.
That was straight to
I was going to spray this fragrance and it was out. I said, what is going on? I looked and you know when you look very clearly?
Maybe.
So it's almost halfway. And I just bought this one, Oti, if you remember.
I remember.
I just bought this one. So it shows me, this one I really like it. Because I've gone through like, this is my third bottle, I think. So it only shows you that I really love it to that level. Most of my other fragrances have not really gone into, like, let's say, a third bottle. So it shows me how much I identify with it.
Indeed.
To be a signature in a sense.
Indeed.
So this one could be. But because of having too many fragrances, I change a lot. But that one is the one where I'm not thinking too much. I'm like, you know what, I'm going out, I just don't want to reason with fragrance, look at this, look at that. It's the one, I just pick it, I know it can work daytime, it can work nighttime, it could work at the gym, but that's also an overreach. It could do that, but it doesn't make sense for you to use it for such a reason. But I feel like it's one that would go anywhere.
Wow.
It could do anything, whether I'm putting on a suit, whether I'm putting on my shorts, whether I'm putting on just a t-shirt and my thing, just doing a simple thing. So I feel like that one is the kind of signature scent, because a signature scent has to kind of like emulate who you really are at all times.
Indeed.
And I think that's what it does for me. That's why I find it unique.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm definitely with you on that. And also, since A Pass mentions that this bottle is kind of opaque, you can't really see through it, it kind of plays with your imagination. Do I have half a bottle or am I completely out? Oh, I need to save this one and put this one over here. You know?
Exactly.
Ken, can you just speak to the demand of perfume or the demand of niche fragrances or designer fragrances around town? Is there a demand for perfume here?
Yes, closely related to that, I think I would say, in most cases in Uganda, most people go for the designers. You understand?
Yes.
But the reason why they go for designer fragrances is because they are highly hyped. That is one reason. Two, the commercialization behind the designer fragrances makes it so much projected to the market.
No doubt.
So people start identifying themselves. I want to use a Chanel, I want to use a Christian Dior, I want to use the YSL, you understand? But if you come to people, you know, when it comes to fragrance family, you need to understand that we have people who are so much in love with fragrances. And we do call them collectors.
As we can see here, absolutely.
So when it comes to collectors, these are people who've gone beyond reach. These are people who've invested a lot of time in research, and these are the people who basically understand what they really want to buy, as opposed to people who are buying the designer fragrances, whom normally relies on our opinion. A collector like A Pass is somebody who would take his really time. He would go to the fragrantica.com, do a lot of YouTube research, find out exactly, develop the notes between the heart notes, the base note, understand that the heart note and the opening notes, totally understand the true composure of the fragrance.
Indeed.
And then he would really come out and say, I think to me what would really make sense, I think let me take this line. You understand? But one thing again I may need to bring to the attention of people who are interested to understand this is because one, designer fragrance is a little bit pocket friendly compared to a niche fragrance. Because you'd find a cost of one perfume of a niche fragrance can equally buy like 3 or 4 of these.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Understand?
Absolutely.
So someone who goes for the niche fragrances like A Pass does is somebody who's really committed, has passion, is not driven by just smelling good, but it's beyond reach.
So we're actually talking about creating an identity here when we're talking about those two different kinds. And let's just really quickly, maybe both of you guys can do this. We'll start with A Pass. We're talking about the word niche here. How do we distinguish the difference between designer and niche fragrances?
So I'll speak on the niche side and then we'll speak on the designer side. So niche is companies that actually make fragrances and they only make fragrances. They focus on it and that's what they do. So he can tell you what designers are.
Okay, so we've got fragrances here, companies or boutiques, people that only specialize
in making fragrances.
Only.
And that's it.
Yes.
This one is not involved.
Which one is that?
That's Tom Ford.
Tom.
Fucking fabulous.
Yes.
It's like niche quality in terms of how it was made. It's really expensive. The most expensive fragrance here.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
It's like 2.5 million in Ugandan money.
Hey.
So this is really, really expensive. It's like niche quality because it's like in the private side of what Tom Ford makes. for those people who are up there that want something that is totally different. Niche can stand out to be different. So this one is the only one that is in that line. But when you look at majority of these people, they don't make clothes. They don't make t-shirts, they don't make shoes. They only make fragrance, and that's what they do, and that's what they're known for. So he will tell you what the designers do.
Okay, and on the designer side,
So
Mr.
on the
King?
designer side, basically the names, these are individuals who've come out, they projected themselves so loud, like the Giorgio Armani. We'll talk about the John Versace, we'll talk about the Chanel. So normally designer fragrances hire expertise, like the nose, now the niche people. So the most, you'll find out that some of the people who make the niche fragrances are hired. So the designers come with a budget. They say, I would want to have a fragrance that costs between $50 to $100, between $100 to $200. That is why you'll find like most designer fragrances, they're in between $50 at most $200. You understand? So they hire the mechanics. I call them the mechanics to come and say, for example, this is Bleu de Chanel hired by Alberto Morillas. Alberto Morillas, you'll find later on, A Pass will tell you, is he makes his own fragrances. You understand? But because Chanel has hired Alberto Morillas, they say, I need a fragrance that is about $100 or $120. So what the designers do is, because they have the market, so they help in promotion, like they bring it out so much, but they are not the makers of the perfumes.
Indeed.
You understand?
Indeed.
As opposed to the niche side. So
Indeed.
they say we need something that is budget friendly, that smells so good, that is between office and out, but this is our budget. So go and make us something. But this is the name we want you to use.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
But more to add to what he is saying, like mainly the definition still is that the designers, most of the designers, if not majority of them, they don't just make fragrance.
Yes,
If
exactly.
you look at Versace, they make clothes.
Yeah,
they didn't start by making
Perfumes.
fragrances, right?
So they make it, but remember, they make it for the many.
They make it for the money.
So they get to make maybe a fragrance that will be friendly to so many people.
Very mass appeal.
Exactly,
Yeah,
mass
mass
appeal.
mass
They
appeal.
make mass appeal fragrances. When it comes to the niche side of things, it's a little intricate. You have to be a little deep to a certain extent to vibe with that. Because majority of what those guys make is likable, like a Dio Savage. Like everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. Everyone uses. Everyone feels
knows.
like it works.
Yes.
You know, it does its job. So that's the thing. But when you're here, like let's say if you told someone about Royal Oud, they're like, huh? Royal Oud, what is it really about?
I don't
They're
know
like,
it.
huh?
What is
You
it?
know, they find it weird. They would find it weird. But then they wouldn't find
A problem.
Savage like as a problem, because they feel like, okay, I'm familiar with the smell because so many other people wear it and it works and it gets compliments, because most of these really like a compliment magnets. If you look at it, like the designers,
Yeah,
they
are.
really work. They just work and people like what works for them. If my friend has it, I can also have it, and they're manageable.
Yeah, the
These
budget
are not
friendly.
very, very manageable.
Indeed. Well, let me ask both of you guys this. We're actually talking on this particular subject here. Why would someone who's getting into perfume, to men's fragrances, but specifically talking about men's fragrances here, why would someone lean niche or designer one over the other, just getting into perfume?
Just getting into perfume. First thing first, for me personally, I feel like if you have the money, buy something that is quality, very, very high quality. And I'm not saying the niche, the designers are not high quality, they are.
Absolutely.
But the niche are very, very high quality most of the times, because they use most of the times they use like a lot of natural raw materials.
And just to
make
cut you
the
a bit short,
fragrances.
I think that is a clear distinction that is coming out. Most designer fragrances are synthetic. Most of them, I don't mean to say all of them,
Yes.
but most of them are synthetic. But when it comes to the niche fragrances, most of them are 99% organic.
So, really quick, and that's what A Pass said, but just for folks at home, can you just go into a little more depth talking about what does it mean for something to be synthetic?
Synthetic are biologically made, like laboratory made in the laboratory. So
Okay.
you acquire, it's an acquired scent. You would say, let me pick this scent, let me pick this. So you make it in the laboratory. You understand? But as opposed to the niche where they literally go, for example, to fetch vetiver in Madagascar, pick the raw flowers, come, and then turn it into a
But particularly maybe from a particular garden.
Yes.
So think about it. Like, let's say if you're talking about, let's say, the designer, they may probably like get something that smells like. It should not be the thing, but as long as they can create that scent,
Something.
just like you said, like in a laboratory, to make something that is close to that, but it is not that.
It is
real.
It's not authentic.
That is why it's
Exactly.
not authentic.
Yes, exactly. So that's the difference. So when it comes to, let's say, the niche side, they have more of the natural raw materials, and it does not mean also that they don't have synthetic stuff within. They do.
They do.
It's
Look at the
very hard
composition.
for any fragrance not to have
Like 100%.
synthetic
Yeah.
stuff. It will
Exactly,
still
that's
have,
true, that's true.
but on the designer side, it's
More.
probably like more.
Okay.
In terms of
Yeah, that's the
composition.
difference.
That's
So, as on your point, where you're saying why should someone like choose maybe the niche side, if you truly have the money or you can save up, and maybe you're a young man, maybe 25 years of age, and you really want to smell professional, you can save up your money and buy, like, let's say, a Nichenet, which is not too expensive. Nichenets are kind of like affordable, but it's niche. On top of that, there are Manceras,
Yes.
they're niche, but they're also affordable. You could get a very nice fragrance in the range of 500,000. And if you can like have like one of those or like two of those, really good quality, and also the volume it has, like let's say 120 ml, you're good.
Yeah.
You're comfortable with
Absolutely.
that, so you just get your one nice one that you know is quite expensive, but a little unique. It's not going to be like a Savage that everyone is going to have.
And no one can
Everyone's
tell
going
you
could tell like, oh,
from
you
the next
smell like
person.
the next person or that. So niche gives you a chance to stand out.
Exactly.
Designer gives you a chance to acquire a nice scent that works.
that everyone wants.
to work within your budget.
Works.
Yes, that works within your
Yes.
budget. So that's advice to the young men out there that are just starting they're on their fragrance journey. Just start off with one quality, one at a time, and build your catalog from there. I want to get into A Pass. You specifically. I guess we have our colognes here. I don't think I need to ask you which side do you lean
We
more
all came
towards.
with our tools.
Yes, we all came with our arsenal here.
Yes.
So is there something here in your collection that you consider a modern masterpiece? Maybe something that maybe in your collection, or even something that's out there in the world that you haven't gotten your hands to just quite yet. Something that may have been going through your brain or through your nose, or notes that you may have picked out on. Is there anything that you consider today a modern masterpiece? And is that modern masterpiece a particular niche? What even makes it a masterpiece to begin with?
Personally, I feel like a masterpiece, for my understanding, is like, I guess, like a scent that when you wear that, they say, what a guy. For me, that's how I see it.
That's
It's
like,
like,
I see too.
who is that? It's like, it really mimics who you are as a person. And like, it makes sense to you saying like, this is a masterpiece. The way they made this, it's really nice. So I'll give you an example of one that I would think
Please.
it is that. I think this one.
That's the second time that you've reached for
Yes,
that particular
yes.
one. Now, which one is that? What's the name of this one?
This one is Royal Oud
Made
by
by-
Creed.
okay.
People like Creed, but most people who buy Creed Aventus,
Yes.
and they think Creed is Creed
Yes,
Aventus.
exactly.
No, Creed is the brand, but it has many fragrances.
Many.
Has many. It has Royal Oud. It has
Vikings.
It has Viking,
It
the one
has-
in red. It has the
Green Irish tree.
Green Irish Street. There's that Silver
Silver
Mountain
Mountain.
Water.
Virgin Island water.
You know,
that's
it
my
has
favorite
so
one.
many,
Oriental,
so many.
Santal.
Indeed.
There's one that I want. I think it's Bois de Portugal, something like that. I want to get that one. It's green, like it's almost close to this, like in terms of the liquid within. This one, why I like it, and you can see, so 120, and see how far I've gone.
And quite a dent he's put in this one.
It shows you how much I love it.
Yeah.
You know, fragrances, you can only understand how much you love them by how much you use them. Because I have more than 50 fragrances in my collection.
Yeah.
Having more than 50 and I can use a fragrance to this level, it must be special.
It must be special.
So this one will never, like if let's say I'm putting on a suit, I would think about it, to be honest. This one and this recently. But I mean like over time, this has been the one. That's why I would pick it over any other thing for now. Is why? It's because it makes me feel like, yes, when I wear this on the suit, I feel important. Yes, I know I am important, but I feel more important. I feel like
the confidence
like
level is high.
It gives me a different vibe, Because you could wear a suit and move out with maybe this, with satin wood. Maybe it's an evening, it's an evening, but this one I can wear it in the morning. I can wear it at lunch.
It's quite versatile.
Exactly. This is what you need. This is a masterpiece. It can work at any time. It's not like maybe a darker fragrance where you're like, man, in the morning, or like, okay, it's cold, or it's hot. No. This one does not discriminate. It doesn't matter if it's hot. It doesn't matter if it's cold. It works.
Any reason, any season,
works
anytime.
This is what you need.
Works.
So this one is a masterpiece. It's a very woody scent. It's vetiver. It's a bit of oud, but it's not too much. And it also has like, I feel like it's woody. It has nothing too floral with it.
Is it
just
something?
Clean.
Well, okay. Now there you go. You said that. You said this one is clean. I was going to ask you, since there's oud in this particular one, would you say it leans? Is it a little lighter? Is it something that's a little heavier? It's light.
It's light, but you will not
like
even feel like it's oud.
Right.
If someone sprayed it and said that one is royal oud, someone would say, "Are you playing with me?" Because what you feel here is like sandalwood. You don't feel like wood.
Right. You're not getting a lot of.
You're not getting too much of it off the top. And even as it dries down, you don't get it. Because I have wood fragrances. I know what it means. I know what it means.
Yes.
And I have many of those.
Okay.
But with this one, it does not give me that kind of vibe. It gives me a clean vibe. It gives me a professional vibe. And not so many people have it. That's why it makes me feel like, it's
actually, he's very lucky because this fragrance is being discontinued. It's very hard to find it right now.
This one, Royal Oud, Creed Royal Oud. Okay, all right. I kind of want to go into what we have here and get your opinion, Ken, as well as what you might think is a modern masterpiece. Maybe we'll do that first before we take a look at what we have here on the table. So, what about you, Ken? What do you feel as today out there is a modern masterpiece, and what makes it that way? What makes it a masterpiece?
In my view, again, I would say to me, a modern masterpiece would be, I'm looking at a fragrance that is going to bring the best out of me. I'm looking at a fragrance that I've received a lot of compliments. I'm looking at a fragrance that can give me a nice projection, a fragrance that can give me a nice sillage and a good longevity.
Okay.
So when he talks about the two, just to say, like Epas maybe would have talked about, is when I wear these fragrances, I wear for the occasion. Am I going to step out? Am I going maybe to the disco? Am I stepping out? Am I going to an interview? Am I going to an office? Am I going for a date? Am I going to the gym? You understand? So this cuts across a lot. But I identify fragrances depending on the occasion.
Okay.
Not like I have a specific fragrance.
There's not one that stands out. There's some so you're saying that some serve particular purposes.
I wear fragrances for particular reasons.
Okay.
And I have fragrances that I wear for those reasons that are masterclass. For instance, if I want to get compliments, I would go with this.
Okay, so this is
the Dior Sauvage.
Dior Sauvage. one that's what we call a dumb reach or a blind reach. I mean, everyone reaches for this one. I don't know too many people that don't know this one.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I wear this especially when I want compliments.
Okay.
But when I'm stepping out, maybe I want just clean suit, feel fresh. I want people to be very clean to me. Then this remains my favorite.
So let's talk about what's inside of what are some of the notes that come out at the top, or tell us the composition of that.
Actually, it has a little bit. It's a little bit woody. It's a little bit soapy.
So you say this one, you didn't mention the name.
This is
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, A Pass. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Let's these people take a lot of time to make these jewels that we revere so much. So let's give them their flowers too.
Yes.
So what's the name of this one?
Oh, this is Chanel, Blue de Chanel.
Okay.
So Blue de Chanel is a little bit soapy, fresh, clean, with a little bit of iris in it, a far-fetched bergamot that makes you a very clean person.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I'm probably wearing a nice suit, black suit, I want to smell very accommodative. To me, this stands out.
Okay. And is this would you call this one a compliment getter?
This is just a compliment getter. When I'm within people, fresh, clean environment, I just want to be the clean guy, nice suit, well tucked in. This is the fragrance to go.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So I choose this for any other type.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's kind of go on both sides here, and let's just give a chance for the people at home to get a chance to familiarize themselves with what's on the table here. A Pass, do you think maybe you could rank? How many do we have? 2,
We
4?
have 10. I think we go 5. I go 5.
That's a good idea. So
Goes
can you
5, like-
rank your? I want both of you guys to rank each of your designer and your niche based on. Oh, there's so many levels. Just go ahead and just rank them and just give us a reason why you're ranking them, where they stand, and I guess maybe 5 being the least and number 1 being the best.